included with it. All it is I call it bearing installation tool. Just it's got a pin in it that's the size of an axle, and then you got a little push rod here that slides over that pin and aligns that bearing perfectly in the wheel. So here's a little dummy wheel that I use on this, and I made about 10 of these, so you'll have a lifetime supply, but it's made out of Delrin and only one bearing goes in at a time. So what you do to test the bearing is I'm going with Dynaroll A1. When I tested it, spun for about 53 seconds, which is pretty good. The best I've had is 70, and the lowest I've had is like a high 20. So 50s is towards the top end. So you take the bearing. You know how these are a little tough to handle, but you take it, slide it flange down over the pin that goes down to the bottom of that. Then I take the dummy wheel here. I got 3 red dots on it just for when it's spinning I can see it. It doesn't matter which way you put the wheel down, but I slide it down over this tool and I just take my thumbs and press it. It slides in real easy. So the bearing is now seated in the dummy wheel. I don't know how good you can see it, but there's the bearing. Outside the dummy wheel, I have these little O-rings that slide over them, so it looks almost like a tire. Okay, and then now I got to move the camera here, see if you can see this. I'll see if I can move it over so you can see this work. Okay. So now the dummy wheel, that slides over this axle, just like that. So you can see that. You can see that spinning right there. I don't know how well this is working, but right there, you should be able to see perfect. Okay, I got the machine plugged in, dummy wheel's on. So all I've done basically is press one bearing into a wheel, say, slid it on the axle. Now I'm going to turn this switch here, the motor on. So now the motor's on, but since it's against the switch over here, the power's cut. So as soon as I take my fingers, which is this, I take this, and remember this has got a stop on it, so you can't move it too far forward. I just press it forward, and as soon as I start pressing it forward, the motor's going to kick on, and when the motor hits, the DC motor hits the bearing wheel, it's going to start spinning. I'm going to hold it for like 3 seconds, let off, and then the timer's going to start. So here I go. I'm going to pull forward. The motor starts. There. If you can see, it's spinning that wheel because I put 3 red dots on it so you see it. And then when I let off, it cuts the power to the motor. And then I don't know if you can see on here. Oh, I forgot. Dummy. I messed up, Roger. I forgot to reset the timer, but okay, do it again real quick. All I gotta do is reset the timer. So, timer's reset. Hit that bearing wheel. Let it spin for a minute. Let off. There, the timer's going now. If you can see that. 7, 8, 9, and that'll continue to just time while this wheel's spinning. So you can still see in the video that the wheel is spinning. And then what I do is I just keep watching. Keep watching until those red dots stop spinning. And then when they stop spinning, all I do, I hit the switch and that stops the timer. Then I take that time and I record it. And I actually I take 3 readings at a time. So just because I own the machine, I got time, I'm going to see if each time it averages out or I get repeatability. So I'm going to do it again. Reset my timer, go forward. Let off. Just going to let that keep spinning. Like I said, why it's spinning, I tell you, this is very simple. I mean, I know I'm describing a whole lot to you because I'm trying to describe everything, but it's basically pressing a bearing into a wheel, sliding the wheel on here, setting the timer, pulling this forward. Again, you don't have to worry about pulling too far or not far enough. There's a stop, and then releasing it. So there you go. It stopped spinning. I hit the timer stop button. So, and it was exactly the same. Repeated exactly the same both times. So that's why I think this machine will give you accurate results, and you can definitely tell a bad bearing versus a good bearing, where before nobody could do that. And also what I have done, if you can see this, is when you pull this forward, the motor is going to start, but I'm going to shut the motor off. Pull this forward. I made 2 little pins here, and there's 2 holes back here. The pin slides in there. The pin slides in. Whoops. Pin slides in there, and that way now you can turn this on and actually break in a bearing rather than just test the bearing. Maybe you want it because it seems like when you buy new bearings, they're a little stiff. The longer you race them, the better they get. Well, I made this to kind of mimic that. You know, if you wanted to sit here and let it run for, I don't know, say you wanted to let it run for 5 minutes. That's 5 minutes of spin break-in time on these bearings, and I've seen them get a lot faster, and I've seen some stay the same. I've seen some get slower, but if you got, you're gonna have 24 new bearings plus whatever you have. You can go through here and sort out the best 6 and put that on your best car. The slower ones you can try experiments on. You can try polishing them. I've heard of everybody trying toothpaste to Novus, anything, Brasso, different solvents, like I said, mineral spirits, acetone, alcohol, and just try and see if you can make them faster. So you'll find